everybody, and welcome to Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2. This is one of my favorite games of all time. And today we are going to be riding through its incredible environments and taking in the scenery. So I hope that you will join me for this ride through the Old West. So, we are currently on top of Mount Shan in West Elizabeth. Off in the distance, somewhere around there, is the homestead of Beecher's Hope. Beecher's Hope. And then down there is Blackwater, which of course plays a major role in the prologue to this game before the actual game starts. The gang of criminals has just pulled off a major botched job in Blackwater. So we are going to be making our way down from Mount Shan into Strawberry, the nearby town of Strawberry. And then we will cross over this river here and circle around through the Grizzlies and loop all the way around down to St. Denis. So it's quite a journey, and we'll probably have to make camp once or twice because of how long the journey will take us. But it will be a stunning trip. Now, before we get too far into this, I want to thank a very loyal commenter who has been requesting this video for quite a while now. And his name is Red Dead Redemption Fan. So you can see why he might have been asking for this video. So I want to shout him out, and I hope that you enjoy this one. You have been more than patient, so thank you for that. So, Red Dead Redemption 2 was developed and published by Rockstar Games, famous for, most famous I suppose, for creating the Grand Theft Auto games and GTA 6 is coming out next year, supposedly, assuming there aren't any more delays. And this game came out in 2018. It is a sequel to, or rather a prequel, to Red Dead Redemption, which is also one of my favorite games of all time. I adore both Red Dead and Red Dead 2. And if you haven't played the first game, I highly recommend that you check it out if you enjoyed the second one. And then there was Red Dead Revolver before that, but I've never actually played that one. I've heard it's a pretty different style of game. But nowadays, Rockstar certainly likes to make these massive, generation-defining games with incredible stories and scripts and sprawling worlds. So far they haven't dropped the ball. Of course, we'll see how GTA 6 turns out. I'm sure it will be great. And I do love GTA, but in terms of the stories, the campaigns, the storylines of RDR1 and RDR2 are just so special to me. There's great writing in the GTA campaigns as well, and great characters for sure. But for me, these old Western epics are just perfection. So here we are, entering the town of Strawberry. There is the local jail, which at one point in the campaign you find yourself having a thrilling escape from. The inn there, the hotel. And this is a sort of frontier town, so not as developed or technologically advanced as, say, Blackwater. But it's very cozy here. I love the surrounding landscape. I love the design of the buildings here. And the scope of Red Dead Redemption 2. The incredible scale of it. We have a water wheel there. Might make you think, if you hadn't played the game, that, oh well, you know, that probably means you lose a bit of detail, right? Worlds that are massive, you sometimes have to sacrifice depth or detail. Or maybe have lots of repetition. But the world design of this game defies that intuition. One of the greatest accomplishments of Red Dead Redemption 2, and the first game as well, world itself. In my opinion, the world maps of these games, the beauty of them, how you can just be riding from place to place on your horse, and then be just struck all of a sudden as the sun, crests the horizon and the whole world is suddenly lit in the brilliant colors of sunrise. And you just bring your horse to a stop and have to stand there for a minute, just looking around you, taking in the beauty. And I am a great lover of the outdoors. I've been to many national parks in the United States where I live. Also, we are approaching Riggs Crossing here, or rather, Riggs Station, this is. And then, I think the bridge that we're crossing is called Bard's Crossing. But yeah, the natural world and the sort of stunning vistas of the world are something that are very meaningful to me and very striking to me. There are just certain moments that I've had in national parks or just other sort of protected natural areas. Also, I believe this bridge marks our entrance into New Hanover, and the train station over here is Flatneck Station. Should be up here on the right. But yeah, there's certain moments that I've had in these natural environments in real life that are just imprinted into my memory as these incredible, spiritual, transcendent experiences where the sun just cascades across an area and it just holds you in rapture, true rapture. And to me, those are incredibly valuable, treasured memories and experiences. And what's remarkable about the world that Rockstar has created in this game is that I have memories from this game of natural environments and little moments like that of true rapture that are as memorable to me and as stunning to me as those memories that I have from real life of actually being in places like this, myself with my body. And that to me is just a testament to the power of video games and virtual worlds like this that are created with love and care and artistry. That's called Caliban's Seat. That little, interesting rock formation. And we can continue down the tracks, and we will be passing by the town of Valentine, which is a town that you will see a lot in the campaign, early on especially. Oops. So yeah, when I think about what makes a game like this so special to me, I can't help but putting those, moments of awe at the game world high up on the list for what makes this so special. And, well, actually, I think we'll cross one of those areas on the journey today, and I'll call it out when we get there. If I have planned my route correctly, I will call out one of those moments that is just emblazoned in my memory as absolutely awe-inspiring. So, up ahead here, I'm not sure exactly how close it is on this track, but we'll be crossing into an oil field. An oil field. Here we are. This is the Heartland oil field. And this business that is sprouted up around it to draw up the oil is called Cornwall Kerosene and Tar. Cornwall is a character that features prominently in this campaign. And of course, the oil boom in the American West was an explosive moment in history, and Red Dead, the soul or concept of Red Dead is to kind of capture in a small area, in a little game world, many of the emblematic elements of the American West. They tend to not lean in. Oh wow, that's gorgeous. Lightning strikes off in the distance. The storms in Red Dead 2 are another iconic experience for me. An iconic image of navigating the game world. The rain is just pouring down in sheets, and lightning strikes just flash and illuminate the night. But yeah, Rockstar tries to kind of make the game world the Old West in miniature. And there's a very interesting blend of I guess you would say more real world history, more grounded history, compared to the typical Old West fantasy. around here, we're entering the Ambarino region, which is the most untamed, wild region of the game world. So what do I mean by that? That doesn't lean into the fantasy, but it leans into the mythology. I don't know. I'm trying to sort of parse out this difference as I'm thinking about it right now, but I guess what I mean is it doesn't lean into old-timey tropes of the Old West fantasy, right? It is a very cynical take on the Old West in many ways. It doesn't lean into a sort of heroic, fun, adventurous notion of like cowboys and Indians and stuff like that. It has a very grim view in many ways of the Old West. By the way, this is an incredible waterfall area. These are Daughter Falls. Daughter Falls. And over there on that little hill there, that's home to Fort Wallace, which is a United States Army camp. Yeah, it paints a grim picture of the Old West in many ways. It does have adventure and lightheartedness and joy, but it doesn't, I'm just parsing this out as I speak. It doesn't romanticize, I suppose. It doesn't, give in to a, rose-tinted nostalgia for the era in the way that many other depictions of the Old West do. Here we're entering a pretty unique area, Calumet Ravine, which is a sort of a red rock oasis up here. It's very gorgeous. And the Wapiti Indian Reservation is nearby. I think those are Peking ducks. Yeah, so what you end up with is a story about the mythology of the Old West. Not a rose-tinted, nostalgic view of, the stories of a child's imagination about the Old West, but a story of the mythology of the Old West, by which I mean mythological figures, right? The free bandits and cowboys and stuff of the Old West. These figures who could roam and live and not be subject to rules, right? Not be subject to government or authority of any kind, whether it's governmental or, a criminal boss or whatever it might be. this campaign, especially with Dutch as the leader of this gang, you encounter figures that would essentially try to bind or restrict the gang and its members. Angelo Bronte, the Pinkertons, federal agents, the U.S. Army, industrialists like Cornwall, and time again, the gang, at least in its sort of high-minded philosophy spoken by Dutch, responds by trying to fight back against this control, trying to maintain the freedom sort of symbolized by this vast wilderness. And, the story of these two games, especially with Red Dead Redemption 1 following after this, is very broadly a story of this mythology being killed or being corrupted or I think in a real sense being shown to have been a lie or have been founded on lies, right? That the freedom that Dutch talks about turns out to be at the expense of other people, or at the expense of values that you might have or hold. So, I don't know, that's just me rambling a little bit about the themes of this game and what I find so compelling and beautiful about its world. And there's a lot to be said about those themes and how it ties into the Wapiti Indians that we passed by earlier and their story, and how the Indians are in some ways similar to the gang and are in many ways very different, how in some ways both groups face similar problems but also face very, very different problems. And I won't go into all of that here because I want to keep things a little vague for spoiler purposes, just in case anybody here doesn't want to be spoiled. But it's a very fascinating game and story that I think is worthy of a lot of analysis. So if you haven't played this game, I highly recommend that you check it out. I also highly recommend that you check out the first game, Red Dead Redemption 1. So, up ahead, we're approaching what I mentioned earlier, that we'd be passing by one of these moments that just froze me. So we were in the Grizzlies mountain range. I think this is Grizzlies East area. And the first time that I came through this little pass here and emerged like right about here, this just stunned me. The lighting was a little different and everything was just illuminated in pinks, and the wildflowers on rolling fields over here. These sort of hills on the sides of this mountain. Absolutely just astonished me. And that's one of those moments for me where I was transfixed, right? Just transported on a spiritual level or whatever, however you would describe it. When you're just completely transported by the natural world. But yeah, that a moment like that is one that just, it stands out to me, even alongside having been to incredible areas like this in real life. Just a testament to the power of this stuff. So, I think we will set up camp somewhere around here. It's starting to get a little dark. The sun is getting a little lower in the sky, so in the interest of not running around at night, there's a little like shack sort of thing, a little abandoned building up here somewhere. So I'll head over there and look a moose. Let's get a closer look, see if I can chase this thing down. Slow down, buddy, I just want to get a good look at you. It's a big bull moose. If I can catch up to it. There we go. Come on, hold still, buddy. I want to show everybody. I want to show everybody how beautiful you are. Look at those antlers. Alright, we can let him go on his merry way. Stop freaking him out by chasing him down. So these wildflowers here, it's just, we have, attracted the attention of a grizzly bear. Maybe he'll just leave us alone if we give him some space. Just to put some distance between the two of us. And where is he? Okay, now he's coming in. So I'll tell you what. How about we do a little hunting instead? Just use a very nice shot from my bow and arrow and take down the grizzly. And of course, we should not let its body go to waste. So we will skin it and take the belt. The grizzly belt like this goes for a nice price with fur traders. And it's a 3-star quality, so that's nice. Hunting and tracking and acquiring high quality belts can be a pretty significant part of this game if you want to engage with it. You have to find high quality animals in the first place, and then you have to kill them in a way that doesn't damage the belt. So for instance, you can't will ruin the belt and reduce its quality. Here's the little shack I was talking about, and it happens to have some loot inside, so like the good bandits we are, we'll just liberate that. And the sun has sunk beyond the horizon. The moon is coming up over the mountain peaks. So now is a great time to set up camp and sleep until tomorrow. The characters of Rockstar games are one of their strongest parts as well. The writing of their characters, how nuanced they are, how complex they are, the different personalities. It's incredibly compelling. We'll cook some food tonight before bed. I have to have our dinner. And the gang, I should say, that Red Dead Redemption 2 focuses on a gang of outlaws that are trying to survive in the American West in 1899. And the gang, over the course of the game, just really is so well written and so fleshed out, and you spend so much time with them that it becomes one of the strongest parts of the game. You know, thinking about this game now, even though I haven't played it for years, played through the campaign since, I haven't played it since it came out. I played the campaign then, and haven't played through it again since, so that was 2018. But even so, after all this time, you know, some of these characters are still so ingrained in my memory, and the relationships between characters. We'll have some coffee to help wake us up. The relationships, you know, between characters like Arthur and Lenny and Micah and Dud, John and Abigail and Jack, Hosea. You know, there's this whole band of people, and each of them, their story is just so memorable to me. So, you know, when I think about what makes Red Dead so special, as I said, the world is high on the list. The incredible beauty of the world, navigating it. Another aspect of what makes it so special is that character writing, is how compelling and human all the characters are, and the relationships between them, and how they develop and strengthen, or how they break apart. You know, there's so many scenes from this game that remain in my memory because of the power about plenty of, well-written video games, but to have just absolute A-plus top quality writing and voice acting of incredible actors who portray the characters so well is really a rare combination in video games. Sometimes you might have good writing, but perhaps the voice actors are not so great, a little cheesy. Sometimes you've got great actors trying to make it work with pretty cringy writing. But Rockstar games, they really deliver. So, I'm excited for GTA 6. As I said, when I tend to think of, the heights of Rockstar storytelling, I think of the Red Dead series before I think of GTA. But GTA still has great stuff as well. Here we are in a little structure called the Loft. And I just wanted to come up here in the early morning haze lit by the rising sun. I love this silhouette here. And just take a look before we start making our way down the mountain. From here on out, I think we're mainly going to be dropping in elevation. So, I just wanted to take a look out at the world from up in the loft. The loft. I'm riding a white Arabian horse, by the way. In Red Dead, you definitely build a bond with your horse over time for a variety of reasons. There is mechanical benefits where the more that you interact with a specific horse and clean them, feed them, pet them, you unlock new abilities with the horse where their stats increase and you can do, certain moves. And so that helps you, encourage you to build a bond with one horse. But then also, moments in gameplay where you jump off a cliff and land on your horse and take off and do some crazy stunt, evade the law in some way. Those emergent features also help, create a bond with your horse. Also, I want to just go down here and take a look at this meteor impact site. I like, all the trees bend outwards from the impact. Kind of cool. What's that massive crater in Siberia that looks like this? Can't remember the name. So we have a little meteorite here, and you can actually pick up a little piece here. Let's grab that. Loot that little meteorite fragment. Isn't it pretty cool to imagine? These days we're so educated as a people, as a human race. few mysteries left to us, especially that we will encounter in our day-to-day lives, as opposed to, high-level existential questions like, it's a mystery how the universe was created, and it's a mystery, blah blah blah, right? There are still mysteries, but in our day-to-day lives, most of the things that we encounter are pretty explicable. And isn't it just wild to think about being like, I don't know, a Neanderthal, and one night you see a light streak out of the sky, and there's this boom, and you go check it out the next day, and you just find like a crater in the ground, and all the trees are bent outward like this, and there's a meteor stuck in the ground, and it's, all pockmarked like that, and sort of riddled with holes. What would you imagine? What would you think of that? I feel like if I saw something like that, I would look at the shape of it, the holes in it, and I would be like, something has crawled out of this, right? Something fell from the sky and a living being has emerged from it. But, yeah, it's just fun to think about what ancient peoples thought of certain phenomena. This is, Dover Hill. It's the lab of a guy named Marco something, and he's kind of a Nikola Tesla stand-in, sort of like a genius inventor studying electricity. Okay, can't get in here. See if we can find another entrance. There's been reports recently by some hunters who were coming through the area that they saw a strange man emerge from this building a couple weeks back. That he was shining and glinting in the moonlight. They said it seemed as if he was made of metal. And since then, Marco, the inventor, has not been seen. We have a strange device up there. I think for maybe capturing lightning. So, we will move on. I was wondering if we could find a way in, but seems to be sealed up tight. It is also, of course, just a fact that the game is quite fun, in my opinion. There's a lot of appeal in the world and the characters and the writing quality, and all of that is very true. But there's a definite joy in just being that gunslinger archetype, right? Activating Deadeye, just popping 3 fools with a quick draw of your pistol before they have a chance to react. not sure if they have a name, but this river is the Kamasa River, which you have to ford to cross this area. They do have some take in the local wildlife as they drink from the river. They do, of course, integrate sort of Old West style duels in this game. An example of them, playing with the mythology a little bit, right? You do have the famous figures of the Old West, the Billy the Kids and such. And I don't really know how much that dueling in the street thing is based on any actual truth. I would imagine that's pretty much made up for dramatic effect, but maybe there were some duels. I don't know enough about the Old West period. Historically, it's well, I mean, I learned about what some of the other stuff that was going on at the time, but I don't know too much about the historical nature of like cowboys and the famous outlaws and stuff, and how much all of that is historical and truthful versus anywhere from exaggerated to outright confabulated, right? This is a gorgeous area. I think this is where there's an albino elk here maybe, or maybe an albino moose in this area. That was one part of the game that made me a little sad, is you can go around and hunt these legendary animals. And I always wished there was some kind of way that I could, like, complete that quest, complete that encounter without actually killing the animal. Like, take a photo of it or something, and not kill it. But of course, as a completionist, I did kill them all. But there was something very sad to me about exterminating these sort of strange, beautiful creatures, very rare. Although it is kind of thematic for the Red Dead style, the Red Dead storyline themes of the old kind of dying out and being replaced by the new. In the first game, Red Dead Redemption, you can actually, it's terrible, there's an achievement that you can get, and you'll just be playing the game, and there's a buffalo, and you can kill buffalo and skin them and sell their hides, and then maybe one day you kill a few buffalo, you shoot down the last one in the pack, the herd, and then this achievement pops, and I forget what it's called, but it's like, exterminate the last buffalo. buffalo go extinct. And it's true, there's only a certain number of buffalo in the first game. And if you kill them all, you do make them go extinct. Which is, historically based with how the buffalo used to roam. I mean, there were so many buffalo historically. And the absolute massacring of the buffalo by settlers coming west for, a variety of reasons. And pretty depressing topic. But anyway, we are down on the eastern coast of the map at this point, the sort of easternmost side of the map. This area is called Roanoke Ridge. And we're traveling south. If we follow this train track far enough, it will take us to Saint Denis, Saint Denis. We have some evidence of logging operations here, and the town of Annisburg. Annisburg is a town on the river with a little dock area. Oops. And the water oil slicked here. I forget exactly if this town is like a refining spot or what, but there's clearly some oil in the water. And this section of the game world has always been one of the least pleasant to me. The Van Horn trading post. The Lannahechee. Annisburg and Van Horn, they're very kind of decrepit and dirty and polluted, not very welcoming places. Black plumes of smoke rising up in the distance. And I think as you move around in the game, there's different chapters of the game, and different chapters see you hiding out in different places. And I think the environments that you find yourselves in sort of reflect the progression of the gang, of its problems, right? You eventually end up pretty close to here, on this sort of polluted, more depressing area, which I think reflects some of the issues that the gang is facing at that time. Compared to when you're hiding out in West Elizabeth and everybody's riding high and happy and, well, for the most part. When the game starts, of course, things have just gone kind of poorly because of Blackwater, but can we hold still, buddy? I'm trying to pet you. There we go. Gotta give the dog some pets. That's a happy boy. close at this point. Just up ahead here somewhere is the Van Horn trading post. And just beyond, which is right here, this is Van Horn. And then you can see this place is pretty run down. Just have boats sinking by the docks. Up ahead, we will be crossing into the Bayou region, which is sort of a reflection of, kind of Louisiana. And once we cross through the bayou, we will be in Saint Denis. So our journey is almost at its destination, but we can enjoy the bayou together for a bit, which is another gorgeous area. There's sometimes when the light is shining through the trees and the hanging moss. I don't know if it's Spanish moss, and the vapor in the air, the water vapor, the light is refracting off that, and it's just this ethereal, gorgeous place. This region overall is called Lemoyne. This is where you'll find alligators, which can be a pretty dangerous creature if you're not paying attention. They can just grab onto your legs and death rattle you. So, if you were picking a place in Red Dead Redemption 2 to live, a region or a certain area, what would you pick? It's hard to choose. There's definitely some, more than a few very good options. Are you a bayou kind of person? Would you settle here? This is Blue Water Marsh. And if I can get my bearings, I'll try to lead us through a little town nearby. If I can find it, I think I'm on the right track here. But while I'm figuring that out, it's hard to pick. I think settling in Strawberry for me would be a pretty appealing choice. I just love that terrain of the surrounding area. It's so incredibly beautiful. There's that lake nearby. I might settle on that lake. That would be a lovely place to live. Live alongside the beavers and all that. The bayou is a gorgeous place, but might be a little too insecty for me. I do not like mosquitoes. So this is a town of LeGras. The town of LeGras, which you come to maybe once or twice in the campaign. Mosquitoes are awful. I grew up with them. I live in a place now where Unfortunately, they're not as common, although they do come out sometimes. But I would not shed a tear if I never saw another mosquito in my life. So here we are, crossing into Saint Denis. Saint Denis, crossing into Saint Denis. This is the biggest, most established and developed settlement in Red Dead. It is a true city compared to all the other towns, some of which are hardly even towns. They're more like hamlets. But Saint Denis is a bustling city by any definition, with a light rail transit system, electricity, and all the amenities of a modern 1899 life. So, we will take a little stroll through the city, maybe head down to the docks and watch the sunset. I think this is probably based off of New Orleans. I've never been to New Orleans, but you know, I've watched The Princess and the Frog, and it looks pretty similar in vibes to the depictions of New Orleans I've seen in media and news and stuff. They have it's a kind of an interesting thing, right? This moment in history where there was electricity and, oops, I'm blocking the tram. The time in history where, like, electricity was existing alongside horses, right? You ever seen that, seen some posts online in the past about, like, the Old West era, the Victorian era, and the Samurai era all crossed over at the same time, which is a pretty fun idea. You know, the idea of a samurai like showing up